Good morning, everyone. Well, today is the 7th anniversary of the loss of my baby girl. And traditionally, this is a really hard day for me, and I'm always just paralyzed in my bed or on the couch or whatever, just grieving. But today's different. I don't want to. I cried a bit this morning, and of course, the memories on Facebook are popping up, telling everybody what was going on with her surgery today, and then how things went after the surgery, and then, of course, eventually her passing 6 hours later. I don't want to dwell on all that today. I just want to be productive, and I want to focus on the happy memories of her today. And I'm taking her with me with everything I do today. I'm talking with her and asking her what she thinks about this or that. I'm going to be doing some yard work in a little while. It's growing up terribly. And not a lot I can do with this torn rotator cuff until that gets fixed, whatever they're going to do with it. My appointment is next Wednesday with the orthopedic surgeon. Not looking forward to hearing that most likely I'm going to have surgery and what all is going to be involved with that. And it's frustrating because I can't get things done like I want to here at the house, being pretty much one-armed. I have been using it more than I should have been. It's very, very sore today. Yesterday, I rented a U-Haul and drove the 2 hours to Gainesville to pick up a big old armoire that I've had for many years that I love so very much. My sister made the move to Atlanta yesterday, and she's had my armoire for quite a while because, in 2013, I got divorced and put my entire house into a couple of storage units and moved in with my mom to care for her. And then in 2021, after my mom had passed, I sold the house, and then my daughter's kids and I moved into an RV because financially that was our only option. There was nothing else I could do, nowhere else I could go. I didn't have a lot of money. But after that, my business started growing, and I started doing well, and of course just bought this house in December. And so yesterday I went to get my armoire and bring it back home. And when it got in the house last night, and I looked at it, and something I didn't expect happened. I realized it was a full circle moment because the armoire went into storage when I lost my marriage and my house and my money and the savings, and everything was gone. And I didn't have anything left. And now, all these years later, 13 years later, I have gotten to a point where I could buy a house on my own without a man, and comfortably, and bring my armoire back home with me. And I realized it was a full circle moment, and wow, it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. Look how far I've come in 13 years. And it wasn't without a lot of tears and clawing and kicking and hard work to claw my way back out of all of that. And in the process, losing my child, losing my mom, losing the family home. It's been a lot to go through and a lot to process and try to pick up the pieces of my life and go on and make a happy, joyful life. But I've done that. And I think the kids are doing pretty well, and they're just amazing kids. We have our rough points. Jojo and I had a bit of a rough time this past week. I think he was overwhelmed. He had been working a job and maintaining homeschooling and all A's with one high B. And I think he got overwhelmed. Love that. He got overwhelmed. I wasn't terribly understanding, and I reacted badly, and we had a bit of a rough time. But we're okay now. And he's taken a little bit of a break from his job to get schoolwork caught up. because the school year's over and I need them to get that finished up so we can maybe go do some fun stuff this summer. And they have church camp next month for a week. So anyway, you know, there are rough times, but these kids, they're amazing kids for everything that they've been through. I'm so grateful and thankful that they're as amazing as they are. I'm really enjoying Jasmine lately because she is maturing. She's going to be 15 in a couple weeks. And she's matured so much over this past year, and it's such a joy to just sit and visit with her, have coffee with her, go places with her. So I'm enjoying being their grandma and the other girl's grandma as well. I have a lot of fun with these kids. I miss my oldest, who moved to North Carolina 2 years ago. Was hoping to get up there this summer, but I don't know with the upcoming surgery and everything if I will make it. But today, it's the 7th anniversary. I took a few moments to cry a little bit, grieve a little bit. And then I said, now I'm gonna get busy. So I have this armoire. I'm gonna show it to you guys. So I found this armoire 25 years ago in DeLand, Florida, in a little shop called Primitive Expressions. And I fell in love with it. And what I love about it is this cabinet was built out of mango wood, and that was new. But these doors at that time were 100 years old. So they're more than 125 years old now. And I just love that. I love them. And they were from India. And I love to think about what kind of building were they on 125 years ago. I mean, they're just amazing. You can see how the nails were done back in those days. It's just so awesome. I just love it. So I brought it home yesterday and I started to style it. I hung some grapevine wreaths up and put my, some of my pothos that I propagate on the doors, and I love that. Put some plants up top. And it is missing a top shelf that I left at my sister's house. I'll have that back on Sunday night, so it'll change a little bit. But inside I put, there's new things and there's old things. These encyclopedias were my parents, and they had them before I was born. And I got them out of the garage this morning and used them to style some things. This phone bank was my grandmother's, so it's very old, and I love it. Put the rest of the encyclopedias in that old basket there. And that button box was my mom's, and I suspect probably my grandmother's before that. I'm trying to get it open. Hold on. Okay, couldn't do it one-handed. But these, I used to play with these when I was little. I used to ask my mom if she would get down her button box and let me play in the buttons. And I don't know how old this box is or how old these buttons are. It's upside down, but I love it. So I'll have the top shelf in there Sunday night, and I'll have to figure out how it's going to change after that. So along that line, I guess I'll show you some other things I have displayed that are family heirlooms. This pottery my sister Linda made the year before she and her husband were killed in a car accident. So it's got her name on the bottom, 1989. They passed in June of 90. These cookbooks were my mama's, so I love those. That is my mama's grater there, another mug that my sister made. This is my grandmother's pot, my mom's juicer. That bottle I found in a house we bought in 2002. Found that in a cabinet, wine bottle. That colander was my mother's. That cookie shifter was my mom's and maybe my grandma's. My daughter always called it a cookie shifter, so that is what I will call it. Another old cookbook of my mother's, and another little item that my sister made, and that pottery bowl was my mother's. I found this pastry board in Goodwill the other day. This is just so cool, and I love it, and I don't know what to do with it. So if any of you have an idea, please let me know. I have a lot of baskets in my kitchen. I love baskets and I love plants. And up top here is a couple of heirloom things. Now, my son made this cup for me. He's almost 44, y'all. He made this when he was a little kid. So I love it. It got a little bit of a break at some point. It fell and broke. That mixing bowl is a Sunbeam mixer bowl that I found buried in the backyard of this house 6 months ago. Well, we bought the house 6 months ago. I found the bowl a few months ago. I love to decorate with thrifted finds, and that vase is a thrifted vase, and so is that one. Pretty much everything is thrifted that's on this shelf for the most part. Picture of all of my grandbabies years ago. And of course, I love my trees. So you'll see a lot of tree paintings around my house. This is my room, and I have, of course, another tree. On this shelf in my room is where I have some family pictures and things, grandchildren and my parents and my children. This is the kitchen island I bought after I bought the house. I love how everything is so easily accessible. Having come from a 45-foot RV for 4.5 years, it's nice to have everything where I can very easily just grab it. I think I'm just going to get busy doing some things in the yard and trying to stay busy today. I'll just take Brittany with me and talk with her through everything that I do. That helps sometimes, just to imagine that she's here with me. And for those of you who are grieving the loss of a child who aren't as far in as I am, 7 years, hopefully this gives you hope that there will come a year. This is the first one for me that I'm not just paralyzed grieving all day. I'm beyond that now. It still hurts. I miss her just as much, and it hurts just as much. But I've learned better how to deal with that hurt and that pain. And partly the realization that she would hate that, for me to be grieving and crying all the time. I know she would want me to be happy, and she would want her children to be happy. So today I'm going to honor her and concentrate on that. Just being happy and knowing that I can take her with me. No matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm going, I can take her with me and I can talk with her. And also the knowledge that she is free of pain and suffering and unhappiness and self-loathing because of her pain pill addiction that she could not conquer. She's free of all of that. And she's happy now. And she's at peace. And she's living an existence that we cannot even begin to imagine or fathom. And if I didn't have that knowledge, I would truly go crazy if I did not know that that was where she is. She prayed for her healing a lot. I prayed for her healing a lot, as did many, many other people. And I was angry when God did not heal her. And I was in church one Sunday, and the pastor was reading a letter from a woman in her 30s who had stage 4 terminal cancer, and she had little children. And he was reading this letter, and I was kind of listening to the letter, but in my head also arguing with God. And there was a point where in my head I was screaming, why didn't you heal her? We prayed and prayed. Why didn't you heal her? And right then, the pastor read a portion of this woman's letter that said, he will heal me. So that got my attention. And then she said, he might just do it by taking me to heaven. And right then I knew it would have been selfish for me to want her to remain here with everything she was battling. She was miserable in her adult life because of the addiction. She had horrible, I guess you'd call it OCD, not the kind of OCD where you have to keep things clean, because Lord knows she didn't have that, but having to repeat motions, clanking her fork on her plate 7 times before she could take a bite, putting food on her fork, putting it into her mouth, spitting it back on the fork, and then back into her mouth, sometimes 3 times, walking up and down steps 3 times, 5 times, 7 times. She would say that it was a strong feeling that she got, that something would tell her how many times she needed to do something repetitively. And I told her one time, so realistically, I asked her, what was it that made her do it? And she said the feeling that something bad was going to happen if she didn't do it that many times. And I said, well, realistically, that's not true. And she said, no, it is, because I've tried it before and then something bad happened. So there was no help for her with that. I tried. The lack of help in the medical field was just horrible for someone with her problems. She desperately needed help, and we never really found any good avenues to get her that help. But now she's happy and she's free, and I know that, and that brings me joy. So I'm going to get out in that yard, get some work in today. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed, beautiful day. Love you all.